Hi everyone, and welcome to the channel. I am super excited to bring you this video today. I know a lot of you guys have been anticipating this video. What we're going to be doing is doing the custom trim bezel that will allow you to relocate your HVAC and radio on a 90 to 93 FOXBODY Mustang. So before we get started on the install in the car, and guys, I'm gonna tell you, I'm super excited to get to install this Pioneer stereo with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which I'm an Apple guy, so I'm going to use the Apple CarPlay. But as you see here, I've got this custom trim bezel that I have developed a process on how to mass produce these. They're made out of high density polyethylene plastic, and they look great, and the fitment is excellent. Now guys, these aren't perfect. These are still handmade right here in this shop by me, but I'm also going to show you how to make your own. So first and foremost, guys, this is an automotive DIY channel. Now if you guys want to take the time to make one, that's great. I'm going to give you the steps to get you started. If you guys want to buy one, I'm going to have a link down in the description of where you can purchase these from me. Let's get started on the install. Alright guys, I know you've seen it a million times, but step one on doing anything electrical to your car, let's take the negative battery cable off. Alright guys, so let's talk just a few minutes about if you're going to make your own. It is a very tedious process, but I know you can do it. I would recommend a couple of different products to make it with. I would say the easiest one to make it with is PVC foam board. That is actually the product that I used to make on the two-tone Cobra clone. That's also some product that I've used in some other interior custom installations. And here's one I've actually made as when I was doing my testing for my templates. This one is out of PVC foam board. Now the downside to PVC foam board, as you see, it has its hard surface on either side. But when you cut it, as you can see, this bevel is basically the high density foam that's in there. Now to get that a better finish, that will need to be sanded even a little smoother and painted. But other than that, as far as workability, all this stuff is super easy to work with. The one that I made for the two-tone Cobra clone was totally made out of this, and I used all hand tools to make it out of. Step one of what you want to do is go ahead and get you a piece of cardboard. I would highly recommend you go ahead and remove your center console so you've got it up on a workbench. So guys, you're going to go take you a piece of cardboard and you're going to measure the size, and it's almost square. It doesn't look like it, but guys, this is actually almost square. It's a little over 9 inches in both dimensions. Okay, there's actually a little bit of a taper in the bottom third where it tapers in. So what you want to do is start off, get you a cardboard template to get you your general size and shape. And once you have that, then you're going to go ahead, and once you got your cardboard template fit, you're going to go ahead and cut this out. Now just cut it square, and then by hand tools you can either use a file, you can use a hand sander, you can use a palm sander. You're going to go ahead and start shaping these corners, guys. And once you get your corners, just take a little bit off at a time. That way you can go back and forth on your center console until you get the fitment just right the way you want it. Once you have that, then you're ready for your next step, and that's going to be cutting these holes out. Now for here, I use actually on the corners, I use just a standard hole saw, and then used actually a Dremel with a cutoff wheel to cut this straight line. Now remember guys, this stuff is super easy to work with, so you can go ahead and take a block sander, right, like this, and go ahead and shape that up once you get it done. Now this one here has a little bit better of a edge because I did use a router on this one, but the one that's in the two-tone Cobra clone, I literally took my palm sander out and shaped most of that between that and sandpaper in my hand and got that bevel the way I wanted it. Here I cut with a Dremel with a cutoff wheel. Now remember, this hole here is not as crucial to be perfect, and the reason why is because you're going to have your trim bezel that comes with your radio installation kit that covers pretty much most of all of that up, right? So you're going to have this to go over it. So once you've got that and you've got your general shape, these holes, of course, you want to line up with this. I like using a punch to get my holes to when I get this positioned and squared. Now we've got all that cut out. Now it's going to be your most crucial point, and that is making sure your HVAC is going to fit in here to where all of this is square with your HVAC. Now guys, this is where I'm going to tell you, if you're purchasing my kit, this will work 100%. If you've made your own plate, there could be some variations. I would highly recommend you removing your console to have it up on a workbench so you can really take the time to make sure you have this measured exactly to fit with wherever you have made your bottom bezel opening for your HVAC. This whole section here is what you will see on a 90 to 93 car. This bracketry that is attached behind your center console is different on an 87 to 89. That's why at this time the kit I'm producing will not work on an 87 to 89, because there are no provisions at the top to be able to put your top two screw holes in on an 87 to 89 Fox body. They're actually here, which doesn't work real well with this type of kit. I do have a design idea, but it's going to take a little while to develop. Be watching out for a video to come soon on that. So with this trim bezel, this is designed to work with your top two HVAC existing screw holes, okay? Down here is you will either need to add a screw hole or either use one if it's an existing car that has had a previous radio install with a standard installation kit. And you'll see this car has the 4 holes, which are actually the same 4 holes that this same kit. So if you've already done a 2-DIN install on your car, the same kit that you have will work with this kit. So basically those 4 holes line up right here. Now to be more exact, you can see I've got a dot here. I could actually re-drill this hole and drop it down by about 1/8 of an inch, but this hole will work. So what I want to do is go ahead and test fit this panel. Right here, guys, if I was wanting to go ahead, I'll make sure all this is positioned the way I want it, because there is a small amount of adjustment. I'll get this positioned just like I want it. Make sure this is square, because again, you've got just a little bit of adjustment to slide it one way or the other to get it squared on either side and not tilted top to bottom. You would go ahead and line your screw up here, and you can press your screw in to make a divot so you'll have a mark in your panel, or you could take a drill bit and go ahead and mark it there. So guys, once you have that done, the next step is going to be the most crucial part, and that is going to be preparing this to receive your HVAC. So this is probably one of the most crucial parts. Now just remember, if you screw up, it's still okay, because guess what? If you get the holes off a little bit, you can always waller these out or make these holes a little bit bigger to get it adjusted just right. So no big deal. But what I've done with my kit is that if you take a piece of tape and go ahead and pre-measure the piece of tape before sticking it on here, and you're going to measure from the bottom to here, and that is approximately 34 millimeters. I'll go ahead and pull Guys, as you can see right there, we are right at 34 millimeters. So approximately in the middle here, I'm going to go ahead and take my punch. I'm going to support my hand behind here. I'm going to find my middle, and right here at that 34 millimeter mark, I'm going to go ahead and make me a punch. So now that I've got that mark there, I'm going to take my 3/32 bit, and I've got this tape here to prevent my chuck from marring up my center console any. Gear shifter's in my way. And we'll go ahead and get that drilled. And before we drill our other hole over here, we want to go ahead and make sure we test fit this. Now you'll see I've already took the tabs off of mine on the back, and of course I've trimmed the ears. We'll go ahead and get this one in here. Now I'm not going to tighten that all the way just yet. And what I want to do is go ahead and do a test fit here, just to make sure all that lines up the way it's supposed to. Make sure all of this is good. That's all good. Guys, I don't know about you, but I think that's going to work. And that looks good. Alright, so now to our next step. Alright guys, so your vacuum lines, you've got a clip right here that clips right under here. You want to pull that clip loose and go ahead and disconnect your coupling here for your vacuum lines. Now the most difficult part is you need to pull this back around and reroute it so it is coming through the bottom right here. Now the biggest reason why is you've also have a yellow vacuum line that goes to the other side of the dash that works the solenoid that goes from defrost vent to floor. And that one, either you can disconnect from that solenoid, and it's a little difficult to get way up in the other side, or by rerouting this, getting behind all the dash panel and getting this under here, making sure the yellow line, and I'll show you that, is free, so you can get here to the bottom. Alright guys, so now that I've got this fished back through from back in here, where we've got the coupling fished through here, what we've got to do now is, you'll see this is the yellow vacuum line that I was talking about that goes back over here. So we fished it up over the back of these brackets. Now we're going to take this, which is what hooks to the back of your HVAC control, and we're going to fish it over behind this metal bracket so we can come underneath here. Then you should have plenty of vacuum lines to connect easily by relocating it here at the bottom. Let's go ahead and do that. Alright, so there we go, and that's right where it connects right here. Now all we need to do is go ahead and fish this back through the side over here, and we should be able to reconnect it over here and still have room to get this tucked in. Alright guys, now that we've got our holes in here and we've got our vacuum line rerouted, I'm just going to have to go over here and get that plugged back in and get that tucked in here, and we should have enough clearance and we should have enough slack for our vacuum line. Now the only thing that concerns me on my car is that these are going to be pretty tight. Now if you pull the harness for your HVAC straight down from the main harness here, that's going to be in the way of the stereo. So I am thinking I may have to extend all of these harnesses. The temperature control, it's fine, we've got plenty there. These other three electrical connectors, I do believe I'm going to have to go ahead and extend these harnesses. Not a big deal. And guys, every car is going to be different, so don't automatically think you're going to have to extend these harnesses, because on the other 91 that I did, I had plenty of harness, had no problem. So I don't know why my car is not going to work. And like, for example, this one here may work just fine, but I am almost certain this harness is not going to fit. I'll probably do a test fit before I extend these, just to see if it will work, and if it does, great. But guys, I don't think I got enough. Alright guys, so it looks like I lost some of my audio on some of these segments upcoming. So right now I'm just going to do a voiceover for this portion of the install. So this step here, I'm going to get a body saw, or you could use a sawzall with more of a fine tooth type blade. This is plastic here, so you don't want a heavy tooth blade catching that plastic. I think that's what I was talking about here. So I'm going to get the body saw out and go ahead and get this cut on either side. So we'll go ahead and get started on the next step, and that's actually going to be where we are removing the 4 screws that are actually behind this bezel, and I'll show you that right here, that are behind this panel. This holds the black metal bracket that is no longer needed and gets that out of the way. Guys, now that we have the black metal support bracket out of the way, this would be a perfect opportunity to go ahead and put your trim bezel in place and go ahead and do some test measuring and test fitting. So what you'll want to do is measure what the depth is up to the metal bracket that is in the center back here, and go ahead and measure that to the front of your faceplate. If you've bought a shallow depth double den head unit, you may not need to remove this metal bracket, but if you haven't, like the one that we're installing here, I was able to tell pretty quick, since my unit is about 6 inches deep, that I'm going to have to go ahead and remove that, and that's what I'll be doing here on this next step. Alright, so my next step is I went ahead and after getting my harness and all of the HVAC electrical connections extended, now I went ahead and installed the HVAC controls, got those plugged right back in, no issues there, and I've got my harness ready to go to install the stereo. All of the pre-work that we've done pays off, and we're able to just get this thing mounted right on in here. Alright guys, before I get all this buttoned up, I want to go ahead and make sure that everything works. This will be the first time turning this on, and I'll get all this screwed in and get everything buttoned up. But I sure would hate to get all that buttoned up and realize I still need that I made a mistake. Let's see. First time powering up. Alright, take 2 guys. That was about as simple as it could be. I slid it out and realized I did not have the harness plugged in the back. I thought I plugged it in, but it was not snapped in all the way. All right, take 2. Here we go. Boom. Hey, hey, hey. We got power. Now do we have speakers? Well, I guess I got to set this stuff up. Let's plug my iPhone into this handy dandy port right here and see what we got. Alright. We want to allow. Well, there we go. I believe Apple CarPlay is working. Heck yeah. Boys, I like it. I like it a lot. We got where I live. Entertain. We got my calendar. Pretty sweet, guys. Pretty dang sweet. Well, guys, let's button everything up, and I'll catch back up with you when we got everything back together. It's done. After I got it screwed in, I've been out here playing with this thing, and I really like this Pioneer head unit. It really lets you get down to some fine tuning. And thank you, Brutal, for turning me on to some Upchurch, which has also turned me on to some Adam Calhoun. And I've been out here jamming out to some Upchurch and Adam Calhoun. Guys, I'm going to tell you, just for cruising around, and the ability to access the radio like this is amazing compared to your radio being down there. So, man, you can be cruising around and it's all right here versus trying to get down here behind your shifter. I like it. I like it a lot, guys. And this Pioneer head unit, I like it a lot. I also like the Alpine unit that I put in the other car. I would say the Alpine is a much easier install, but from a sound quality perspective, this radio is a little better, but this is a higher wattage radio, which is also why the case is bigger, because it has a built-in amplifier in it. It sounds great, guys. I don't know, that's something you have to weigh on what head unit you're going to put in on the ease of installation. It was a pain in the butt to go ahead and add all the extension wires. It's not really hard, it's just time consuming. I wanted to already be done with this, but hey, it's done now, and I am super thrilled, and hopefully this trim bezel will help some of you guys out to be able to give you the confidence to go ahead and get your installation done. So guys, I'm going to wrap this video up. Down in the description will be a link to where you can purchase this, and I'll have these upcoming for sale. I'll have about 40 of them ready to go out first. If those 40 sell pretty quick, I'll go ahead and make another batch and have those for sale too. It will take me about 4 days to get them shipped out, because guys, remember, I work a full-time job. I do this in the evening, and it takes a little while to get stuff packaged up. But hey, hopefully you guys want these. If not, hey, make your own, man, because I know you guys can. I'll see you on the next one.